Hi, welcome to my 20th podcast episode. I'm Marta, I'm a crochet designer and I'm here to chat to you mostly about crochet. I do have a knitting project and probably some life stuff will come up as well, so I hope you like that mix. I have a lot to talk about today. It's been a busy couple of weeks. I have a couple of things I can't even share properly, I can just kind of hint at, and some things I can show you. I've got some completed things, some new things, some in between things. Shall we dive in with... Let's dive in with a Tunisian. So as you've probably seen, if you've been watching any of my other episodes or if you've seen me live on Instagram, it's upside down. I don't think it really matters. It's going to be a cowl. This is the Tunisian sampler cowl by the Crochet Project. This is Joanne Scrace's pattern and it is a course. The course is called Tunisian Crochet Basics and Beyond. And gosh, this is basics and already I would say we're at beyond. We're mixing colours and learning how to read patterns and charts and all sorts. Before I started this, my Tunisian came out weird. See if I can hold it like this. My Tunisian would always come out kind of like this. I think, looking back, I haven't actually got any of the pieces. I've frogged them all, but I have the feeling that at the start of each, not the return pass, but the start of each row, if you like, I have the feeling that I chained one for height, because sometimes I do that instinctively without thinking and then have to undo it. And then at the end, I don't think I was going through, if you know Tunisian, you know what I mean. I don't think I was going through that last stitch at the end. So I guess this was giving me a oblong. And it made me give up on Tunisian crochet because no matter how much I block to try and get it back to square, it didn't quite work. I have made a few pieces. I made a lovely shawl actually, and that was triangular, so I think it worked out okay. I do remember the dimensions not being right. I think, the shawl should have been, say, it was triangular like this, and mine came out quite upright. And that made me, it was the kind of shawl that you could just add more rows to if you wanted it to be bigger. And because mine was at such a tight angle, I just had to keep buying yarn to get it to be long enough to, I don't even know what I did with it actually. I don't know if I gifted it or gave it away. It might be in my attic. I'll have a look. I was really chuffed with it. It looked good. It was summing up with it. Anyway, there are videos in this course and everything is explained so clearly by Joanne that I am now able to create some lovely Tunisian. Each Friday morning a new piece of the puzzle arrives. And it's in the Crochet Project's hub, which is the membership, or you can buy it as a payment of £15 and you'll have lifelong access to the course that way. If you're in the membership, you've got access to it for as long as you're in membership. Membership is just £5 a month, which is really reasonable. There's so much in there. There are other patterns. There is the last mystery cowl is in there, for example. There are loads of stitch dictionaries, video tutorials, and there is a lovely community space as well, so worth checking out. I am an affiliate to that because I'm a member, and if you're interested in finding out more, use my affiliate link and then I do get a small percentage. You don't have to pay any more. I get a small percentage and that all helps me buy yarn and all that sort of stuff and bring you more patterns. So if you want to check that out, please do. Thoroughly recommend this course. I mean, if I couldn't do Tunisian, it's 4 weeks I've been doing this, and you'll see I'm going to talk some more Tunisian in a minute or two. But yeah, I am really pleased at how even this is. I've always kind of seen Tunisian patterns and gone, oh yeah, but no, I can't do Tunisian. That's what I just kept telling myself. But I can, and I'm sure you can too, if that's what you've been telling yourself. Right, I'm going to tuck that over there. Let's move on to something I have finished. This is so cute. Look. Oh, ears are a bit squint. Ta-da! This is the Rainbow Smooch Pooch. There's the back. This is a gorgeous pattern by Crafty Gumnut on Instagram. I'm sure the Crafty Gumnut all over. This is Kyla's pattern. Kyla is in Australia, and it's just such a creative, really cool pattern to put the rainbow and the sort of sausage dog together. I really, really like it. Now this was a pattern that I won in an Instagram giveaway. I think all I had to do was comment. Some sort of comment? Oh, I think there was a photo with Kyla with it balanced on her head, and it was how many takes did it get to balance this on my head? Yeah, something like that. something silly. And I was one of the random numbers plucked out of that. So I was really pleased to win the pattern, and I got started straight away. This is all scrap yarn. So most of it is like this colour, and the pink and the lilac and the green. They are Stylecraft Naturals Bamboo Cotton, I think it is. It's all 4-ply. The red is Pink Box Yarns, and no, the red is Three Bears Yarns, which is a discontinued yarn, and so is the blue, and the orange and the yellow are Paint Box Yarns. So it's a bit of a mix. I was just stash busting for it, and I think in the last podcast I just had a tiny bit to do, and I managed it without needing to go and find more yarn. Jane, who is a lovely viewer of this podcast, kindly offered me some that she had in her stash, but as you can see, I had enough. I have made the legs shorter, so the legs should be an extra 3 or 4 rounds, but just to make sure I had enough yarn, I cut them short. Not literally, I just worked a few less rounds, and I had honestly the teeniest little scrappy ball left, so it worked out just right. Would totally recommend this pattern. I would say you do need a tiny bit of amigurumi knowledge. Some of the instructions are quite condensed, but you know, if you know what you're doing, or you're happy to take your time, maybe dig around on YouTube for the bits you don't know, you'd be fine. It's not too complex at all. And I'm going to gift this one to charity. It will be donated as a raffle prize for the local rainbows. So the yarn, most of the yarn I was talking about was gifted to me by a lovely lady in my community, so I am going to give back with that. I used safety eyes, and I just sewed on a few, this one keeps hiding those eyelashes. I just sewed on a few stitches for eyelashes, and the nose, I didn't have anything kind of either brown or black in yarn, so I just used embroidery thread. I don't know if you can, so it's possibly slightly smaller, and it is on squint, but hey, hold it back here, it's fine. And that all just adds to the charm, I think. So yep, 10 out of 10 for this pattern. Well done, Kyla. Please do go and check out that. Everything I talk about should be linked in the description, and if it's not, please leave me a comment, because sometimes when I'm writing up my description I miss something out. So if I have missed anything out, do please just give me a shout and I will amend and give you the details. Right, I think I'm going to sit him on my knee because I like him rather a lot. I'm going to share a yarn delivery with you now. Just came this morning and I am really pleased. Let's get it all over. It is Manos del Uruguay Alegria Grand or Grand. Not quite sure how we're pronouncing that. I have never used this yarn before. It is lovely and soft. Let me just double check what it is. 75% merino superwash and 25% polyamide. And it is Aran weight. So it's 197 yards or 180 meters per 100 gram skein. And I have it in this color. Are the colors? Ooh. Frail Muerto. Oh, that's where it's, that's where it was maybe made or something. That is the location, that is not the colourway. I would have to look up. Sorry. You'd think I would maybe have checked this out before I went on live, or started recording or whatever. I found the colourway. It's tucked here on the barcode. This is Pompeii. So I've got some more. So I've got this one in Pompeii. It's 100 gram skein. And I have this one. And it is Happy, which it certainly is. I really like this one. Let's open it, because this one is more or less, it's a semi-solid, but it's more or less the same throughout. Let's see what this one's like if we open it. Oh yes, so there's going to be a big cream bit and then speckled bits. Let's just get that up there. So the colours are a sort of neon yellow, rusty red, a dark purpley black colour, and a brighter blue. Look at that. Can we do this? Ish. Kind of lost that bit in my hand. There we go. Almost. So those are the two big skeins, and I have 4 mini skeins. And I've got another 2 coming in the post because 2 were out of stock. So I have these, and these are 25 gram skeins, and they are Aran weight as well. The whole thing is going to be going together. So this one is Cactus Flower, which it definitely is. I've got 2 of those. I have this one, which is Juanita. Love that colour. And I have this gorgeous colour, Spirulina. And the other colour I have that's coming is a reddish colour. And I can't tell you what that's all for. It is a project that I just need to keep under wraps for now. Sorry, not sorry. It's a project I will be able to share with you possibly by the next podcast, but certainly by the one after that I will be able to share. It's something I'm working on quite quickly behind the scenes. I've written the pattern, I worked it up in some similar yarn, and now I just have to work it up in these colours. It's currently at the testing stage, so that just shows you how quickly we are moving through this one, and I just need to keep it under wraps for a few weeks, and then there will be the big reveal. So please be patient, please keep following me either here in my, I'm dropping them everywhere, here in my podcast. You can follow me over on Instagram. I am marta.mitchell.designs. The best place actually to follow me is by signing up to my newsletter, which you'll find on my website, www.martamitchelldesigns.com. You can find a link to my newsletter in that, or it'll be in the description as well, of course. And I email regularly. At the moment I've started a new Friday newsletter which has a lovely feel to it with different sections. It's got more of almost a magazine-y feel. I don't know if I'm going to build it out and make it, there's another few ideas I have for sections. So at the moment there's my main feature story, if you like, which if you're watching this if you're watching this the day it comes out, which is Thursday the 7th, I believe. Last time I had to ask my Echo what the date was. Thursday the 6th, I can't read my diary from here. It's Thursday the 6th of October. So if you're watching this evening or in the early hours of the morning, if you sign up straight away to my newsletter, you will get that tomorrow morning at 7 AM British Summer Time, and you'll be able to see that. So there's a crochet tip in there as well, and I like to share one post or a photo that one of my followers has created, making something from one of my patterns as well. So there's that feature. And I was starting to tell you about the story. So the tomorrow story is all about how I got into becoming a crochet designer. So if you're curious about that, quick, sign up to my newsletter, or if you're already signed up, make sure you look out for that in your inbox tomorrow morning. And I will share that story with you. Okay, bit of a sob story on the hat that I was designing. Not much of a hat. I had to frog it right back to the beginning. I posted a photo in my stories of me. I'd finished the hat. I was wearing the hat. I did not like it. But I'm hoping, I'm pretty sure if I just switch the colour A and colour B around, I think it will work. I think this colour was just far too dominant and it looked kind of like I don't know, some sort of beach bathing cap from the 1920s or something. It did not look right. I'm going to try it, switching them around. And if that doesn't work, then I will do something completely different with the yarn. So I'll give it one more go. Because overall, I was quite happy. I like the texture. I worked out, I think in the last podcast I showed you, I was struggling to come to grips with how I was going to continue the decreases to the crown. When it came to it, actually I worked that out and it was no problem at all. It was great. So, it will work up fast, that's the other thing. It's super chunky yarn and I am using a 8mm hook and it's working up quickly, so you know, it's no biggie. It's only yarn. Hey, you stay there. Other thing I've been working on is my own Lazy Days sock using my Lazy Days cowl kit. So I think the last day, was I finished this sock? I'm not sure. I may have been finished this sock. If I wasn't finished, I was almost finished. This is sock number 1 of my second pair. This is the second pair. It's not the one I designed in. This is one. Oh, the dog is sighing it out. And I am on sock 2. Let's have no second sock syndrome. And I am a good halfway down the leg of the second sock. There we are. And this is of course the lovely yarn from Liv at the Wool Shed. And this is my Lazy Days sock. The kits are no longer available on my website, but the pattern is. So if you're interested in the pattern, you can buy the pattern on my website. And I'm using the lovely Knit Pro. Oh, Knit Pro Soft Touch. No, that's Clover Soft Touch, isn't it? Knit Pro. Gosh, Knit Pro Waves? Knit Pro Waves, I think. Gosh, that's gone right out of my head, the name of that hook. Knit Pro is definitely the brand. I've got that right. I will be bringing these kits back next summer. And I've got some other kit ideas rattling about in my head. So stay tuned for more on that. I will be, yeah, I think I'm going to be releasing another kit kind of February. They'll be slightly different. They are going to be definite limited edition, probably only 20, maybe only 15. They're going to be quite different, a much more kind of handmade feel to them. That's all I'm going to say for now. So keep following me if you like a wee crochet kit and you'll find out more about that. Like I say, at the moment I haven't even written anything down. It's all just little ideas that I have rattling about in my little head. Let's talk about some other little ideas that I have rattling about in my little head. I'm currently working on a magazine submission proposal, and because I enjoyed the Tunisian crochet so much, I have been having a wee fiddle about with some Tunisian crochet. And here we have a little sample I've worked. Now this is just the first ball of yarn that I grabbed out of my truck full of yarn. I don't even know what it is. It was given to me. It's tweedy. It is unplied. Can you see it there? So unplied, if you're new to working with yarn, just means that it's all one strand and it's kind of roughish rather. You know, there's thicker bits and thinner bits. It's not that smooth and it's only one strand. Plied yarn, like, let's see, will this show up? Let's see if I can grab a strand of this. So plied yarn is when there are 2 or more sections and they are spun together. Yes, you can. Is that focusing? there. And they are spun together to create a much smoother yarn, and which will give you a more crisp and even finish with good stitch definition. So for the swatch that I have done, actually I've chosen poorly. I just grabbed yarn basically to try it out. It does not give me good stitch definition, partly because the yarn is not even. I'm not even showing it the right way around, I don't think. Nope. And partly because these little tweedy flecks are detracting from what is going on. So you can maybe just see that there is a basket weave effect going on here. This is not the scale I'm thinking of. I am thinking a chunkier yarn. So I went and I worked it up in a chunkier yarn just this morning actually. And I finished it off with a wee border and decided to turn it into a little coaster, a good thick mug rug. And funnily enough, because it's a bit of a happy accident, I was just working on it, and instead of these being knit stitches, which they are in this sample, I went ahead and did Tunisian simple stitch. And I think I like that more because you've got kind of these lines going this way and these lines going this way. And obviously this edge here is wider. It's not quite square, but you know, for making some use out of this little sample I've done, I'm happy with that. I do need a coaster for my craft space, so this would be perfect. Yeah, have a look at that. This is more, I'm not going to tell you anything else. I'm not going to tell you what it is I'm designing, and I'm not going to tell you colours or even yarn. It's not going to be this yarn. This is, again, it's more just what I had in my stash that I knew was going to give me, because it's an even solid colour, and this is not plied either. Have I got the ball? No, the ball's across the room. It's not a plied yarn either, as you can maybe see around the top, but it is consistent. It's the same thickness throughout. So there. This might be the last you see of this design. We'll have to just wait and see. I will continue working on it. I'll need to create a bigger sample, probably with a thicker hook as well. I will tell you that I want more drape than a coaster. And I don't have any bigger, longer rather, hooks for this size. So this was really the maximum number of stitches I could fit on my hook, because you can use, I don't even have a hook handy. You can use a regular crochet hook for Tunisian as long as it's got a straight handle rather than an ergonomic one. That probably wouldn't work unless you only have 3 or 4 stitches, which sometimes if you're doing interlac, however you want to pronounce that, that would be okay. However, because it's thick yarn as well, the 10mm hook I had was able to hold this number. So this wasn't done on a Tunisian hook, it was done on a regular hook, and the hook did hold all these stitches. So I think that is all I can say about this one just now. I did love how, which way up is it? Let me see if I can work it out. This is my cast on edge. Yes, I did really like how I just naturally worked out how to finish the top so that continued, and then I just worked into this edge, and yeah, I quite liked how you could mix Tunisian crochet and regular crochet. So that top line there is just double crochet and then double crochet down this side as well. So I hope you like Tunisian. I hope you're curious about Tunisian, because I am going to be starting some Tunisian designs starting with this one. So a huge thank you to Joanne's Grace. Joanne, if you're watching, or if you find out about this via anywhere else online, thank you for the course. Thank you for introducing me to Tunisian and for helping me get to grips with it, and I really fall in love with it because I've now dug out a few books that have got Tunisian patterns in and things. I've got one book that is all on Tunisian, and yeah, I'm quite excited about it. It's something totally new. It's a bit like when I first did the mosaic crochet pattern. I did the Dutch Houses Throw by Red Sparrow Crochet, SB Crick, and that just opened a whole new, whoa, mosaic crochet, although I haven't designed in it, but it's just a whole new technique, a whole new experience, and for me that's quite exciting whenever you can find something like that. I'm just going to grab some more tea. Today I'm drinking Higher Living Berry Berry. It's an organic berry tea. It's really yummy. Perfect for the autumn. Now, have I got 2 more things? Yeah, 2 more things. One thing is just a quick announcement really to say that banjo socks, hit you on the head. Banjo socks are my current pattern of the month. This is an Aran weight or a 10 ply weight sock pattern with a fold down cuff. 2 colours, although you could do the whole thing in 1 colour if you fancied it. This pattern was originally written for Crochet Crochet in Australia, and it's toe up. There are puffs on the top, and this is a fold down cuff, and it's done in the front post, back post method rather than back loop only. So that just goes like that and folds down. So it's more of a cosy sock for wearing around the house, this one, which if you're trying to keep your heating off or keep your heating down or minimal heating on, something like this might be just what you're needing, because they'll really keep your feet warm. I think this yarn is a mix of superwash, alpaca and nylon. I would have to double check what yarn I designed it in. It is Australian yarn. I know, it's Fiddlesticks, it's Grange 10. If you're in Australia or down in the southern hemisphere, you can probably get a hold of that, and if not, Yarn Sub is the best place to check out alternatives. If you haven't looked at Yarn Sub before, yarnsub.com is an amazing resource. You can just type in any yarn. If your pattern calls for Fiddlesticks Grange 10, you can just search that and it will come up with endless possible substitutes for you, and it ranks them as a percentage, and it tells you why it's ranked them that, whether it's because the fibre content was very similar, whether it's because the wraps or the meterage, yardage was similar. It gives you a lot of information and helps you make fab decisions about substituting yarn. So if you haven't checked that out before, Yarn Sub is definitely your friend. For whatever reason you're wanting to substitute yarn, it might be because you are far away and can't get the yarn, it might be because it's slightly out of your price range, why else? Maybe because the fibre irritates you, you might want something similar. Sorry, the dog she's getting old. She is coming up for 11 and I think her hearing is beginning to go, and all of a sudden all these little stretches and groans and grumbles are just getting that a little bit louder, I think, so that she can hear them. Does that make sense? I seem to remember this happening with my last dog, and she's just becoming really funny listening to her sighing. And, oh my goodness, she's still talking. Funny little dog. So I was saying, pattern of the month, and you can get 10% off the pattern with the code OCT22. OCT22 gives you 10% off. Double check in the description that I've got that right, and there will be the link to my website to buy the pattern as well. Okay, so throughout October, you've got a chance to get that pattern. Final thing, I'm pretty sure, yes, is my sea glass sweater. Da, 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 da. Let's get it the right way around. Here we are, and if you look, we have armholes. Really excited about this. I just did this morning. Got the armholes created, and I've worked the first 2 rounds of the body, and it's all worked out. And I'm not going to try it on because I think it's still a bit precarious. I'm not going to try it on today. Also, I have this around my neck, which is lovely and cozy. So I'll just hold it up like this. You see, swirl it around. I'll hide that little yellow end. I keep meaning to tie that in. This is a pattern by Wool and Pine Designs. Wool and Pine Designs, I should say. It is called the Sea Glass Sweater, and it's a knitting pattern. If you hadn't spotted, I'm using circular needles for this one, and these are Knit Pro Symphony. I do remember what these ones are called. And I am using scrap yarn. This is all DK weight, and it's all from my stash. Most of it is oddments, some of it is now finished, and I'm not going to have any more of that particular colour anywhere in the pattern. And the colours all just kind of flow into each other. I am changing colour kind of whenever I feel like it. I'm not doing any more than 2 rounds in any given colour. Sometimes it's only half a round, sometimes it's less than that, a third of a round if I just have a tiny scrap. And I'm using the magic knot method of joining. If I open it up, you can see there's some little tails. Apparently you can cut it as close as 2 millimeters. If you're doing magic knot, you can cut it 2 millimeters to the knot. I'm not quite that brave yet. I might go round and cut more off them all. At the minute I've left them at about 1 centimetre. And if the ends stay on the inside like this, I'm happy with that. If they start poking through, I might, if they're still holding, I might cut them. The only ones that I've had problems with, because this is a whole load of DK from my stash. It's a mix of merino, alpaca, superwash, pure wool. There are a few more sort of sock yarny type, but they're still DK, that I've got nylon in, but it's mostly pure wool. And the alpaca seems to bounce a little bit, and my tip for that has just been to use a needle felting tool and gently needle felt through the knot, joining it to the other one. If you have no clue what magic knot is, that is worth checking out. I haven't done a video on it yet, but I do know that my next scrappy blanket project I'm going to use magic knot because I really, really liked it. I think it's a great way of joining scrap yarn, especially in a project like this where you're just really not going to see if there are little scraps like that. You could even make them a feature. You know how I've got all these bits on the outside? You could even make them a feature and have them on your right side. Like, look, I did see a blanket like that. I know it's the cover of not the latest, but the last Molly Makes magazine. There is a knitted blanket, and it just seems to have knots where the colours join, and it looks fab. So you could make that a feature. Yeah, magic knot, check it out. I'd never tried it before now, and I was always slightly suspicious of it. I think I'd heard some people just didn't like it. I'm not sure if they weren't quite doing it properly. Perhaps it was the yarn they were using, like I say, because I do find that the alpaca bounces and doesn't keep as well in its tight knot. I'm not going to try and demonstrate it here. I'd be too far back from the camera. Like I say, check it out, and you'll definitely be hearing more about it because my next scrappy blanket, which is still in the I'm thinking about stage. Probably the new year. I think I'll wait till the new year, because this is using obviously all my double knitting scraps. It'll probably be another 4-ply, I would think, and I'll wait till the new year when I've crocheted and knitted up a few more pairs of socks and I've got some more 4-ply to share. And that gives me a wee break, because I think, I don't need to think, I do know that I have released 2 scrappy blanket patterns this year. The one that I just released last week before, 2 weeks ago, no, it was just last week, that one, and then I released one in January. So I've released 2 scrappy blanket patterns. They are both free on my blog, and the links to those will be in the description. Yes, it was the end of last week I'd released the scrappy blanket 3, and I am really, really happy with the way that's gone down. Thank you everyone for checking it out, for sharing. I think in the UK, Instagram don't show you how many shares you've had. Something to do with not sensitivity, I can't remember what the word is, data protection or something. They don't show you what your share numbers are, but I have the feeling that they were quite high. So if you shared my scrappy blanket, some of you tagged me, you don't have to tag when you share, and I don't see it if you don't tag it when you share, which is why I'm saying I don't know the numbers. It always links back to me, which is fine because you tap the post, so it's not like you're reposting it or anything without crediting. So I'm not saying there's a problem or anything, but it just means I don't know how many times it was shared, but I have the feeling that it was a lot because I gained about 100 followers on Instagram, a bunch of followers over on YouTube, and the pattern is available for free on my blog, like I say, but there's the option to purchase the pattern as a PDF from my website, and it's in Ravelry and Lovecrafts as well, but that version has way more information. So there's the basic version that'll give you one size in one yarn weight on my blog, and then if you can follow that, that's not a problem. Everything you need should be there. But then in the PDF, there's a chart, there's an extra video, there is the pattern for 5 different sizes, from pram, cot, small throw, large throw, single bed, and 4 different yarn weights. So there's double knitting, Aran, 4-ply double knitting, Aran, and chunky. So there's all those yarn weights as well, and that's all worked out for you in a table, how many chains to do at the start and how many rows to do to create it in those different sizes. Is there anything else in there? There's my ideas for taking things further. If you bought any of my patterns, certainly the ones in the last 18 months or so, have all had a take it further section at the bottom with 4 or 5 ideas that you might like to take the pattern further, adding your own twist, making changes. For example, in that one, there's an idea for how you could just make a scarf. So that's included there. And it's the first time I've ever tried that, actually, is to split having the pattern free and paid for, and just letting people decide which version you'd like. Because I know times are hard, and you know, you might just want the free one. Perhaps all you need is in the free one, or perhaps you need more that's in the paid for one. So it's up to you which one you go for. But I've been just really, really heartened, is that a word? Buoyed up by the number of sales of the pattern on my website and on Ravelry. So thank you if that was you, and do tag me because I love to see what other people make. So if you have started, definitely tag me. Like I say, I'm sharing them in my newsletter as well. I need something to twiddle with, don't I? Like, I'll hit my head again with these. Otherwise I just play with my hands, I've discovered. So I think that's all I want to share. I'll just glance across. I did jot down a few things there. Yeah, I think that is it. That is everything for this one. So it's been a couple of weeks, and I should be back in the next couple of weeks with some finished things. I'm hoping to have certainly a lot more progress on the Tunisian, and I was going to say I'll be able to show you more on the Tunisian sample, but that is, like I say, I'm submitting an idea to a magazine. I'm still working on it. I need to get some sketches done, so that one might be a wee while. So it was quite nice to be able to share just a little hint with you today, and we'll see how that goes. And if I don't get accepted by the magazine, I will just go ahead and release it like I do other patterns, so it's no biggie. They don't want it, then so be it. I can just go ahead. That's just the nature of being a crochet designer, really, which you can read more about if you sign up to that newsletter. Just to spin back around to that. So thank you if you have tuned in today. Thank you if you're an existing subscriber who's back again, or if you're new and you've just found me, please go and give me a subscribe, and you'll be then kept up to date with future podcasts. I do podcast about every 2 weeks, and it's similar kind of content. Sometimes there's a wee bit of sewing thrown in if I've done any sewing. It's mostly crochet. I've always got one knitting project on the needles, but there's not much more knit talk than that. Yeah, so I will leave it there. Thank you guys. Bye.